Hi there, good afternoon. Welcome to the Life LDC couch. You'll notice that Lackey's over there. I'm going to sort of ignore him because I'm very happy to see that we're starting the new year off with a new Life LDC couch dog. He's hiding his head, but anyway, he's here, so that's a bonus. Down to business. My 2019 wrap-up November-December video seemed to touch a lot of you. I'm going to go into the comments and discuss them later at the end of this video, but I've been doing a lot of thinking about stash and us as knitters, what we our need to accumulate, and then the guilt that we feel because we've accumulated, and I don't know what it is. Is it the dollars? Is it the space it takes up? Are you like me, and does it sort of take up the whole house? I don't think, well, the bathroom doesn't have any stash in it. The laundry room doesn't have any stash in it. But other than that, pretty much there's stash everywhere. So I actually made myself some cue cards to talk about our problem, stash. So get a cup of tea, coffee. It's New Year's Day, get a drink. After all, it's only once a year, and it is 2020, and let's talk about stash. So my first cue card says, honest. You have to be honest with yourself. Why do you buy yarn? If you've got a big stash, or actually any stash, you've obviously bought yarn, intending it to be for a particular project that you obviously loved at the time. You put your hard-earned cash, credit card or debit card down on the counter, and you said, yes, I'll take that yarn. And so to make that financial commitment, or maybe you push the button on the internet, you have to look at why you buy yarn. And so you have to look at your stash with an honest eye and decide why you bought it. Was it an impulse? Were you influenced by something else? Were you just totally in love at the time, but the blinders have come off, and you have to be honest. Are you still in love with your stash? Think about it. Go down, look, or up, or into your closet, and have a good rummage around in your stash and tell me, do you still love your stash? So while you're down there, sort it. Get it out, sort it. Did you buy it for a specific project in mind? Put it with a copy of that pattern. Or if you already have it like that, are you still in love with the pattern that you bought the stash for? Maybe you're not. Maybe that's why your stash is languishing. That beautiful yarn that you love is languishing because maybe you don't like the project anymore. So there's where the honesty comes in. Decide if you really still love that project and yarn combination. Maybe you don't. If you don't, take that pattern out of there and just put the stash down there and have a good think about it. Make friends with the stash. Maybe it will tell you what it wants to be. So once you've had that big rummage around in your stash, be aware of what you have. Now, that might mean that if you're a Ravelry person, you put all your stash on Ravelry. I know people who have got Excel spreadsheets of their stash. Get your stash on Ravelry. Take pictures. If you have bins the way I do, put the number of the bin that particular stash is in. You've got to get a handle on where everything is and just how much you have, and be back to the honest thing. You have to be honest. No use sticking your head in the stash and going la 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 la, we'll worry about it tomorrow. It's not good. You're just setting yourself up for guilt. And you know what? It's 2020. Let's not have any more guilt about stash. So now that we're aware, we know what's in our stash, and we've had a good look at it, and we've sorted it out. And maybe we have to be honest again, back to the honest, that there's stuff in there that we are not so enamored with anymore. We won't worry about why we bought it or how much money we spent on it. We are just going to be aware of the fact that there is stuff taking up good real estate in our stash area that we are probably never going to use, and we have to be realistic about that. So what are we going to do about that? Well, do you have knitting buddies that maybe are envious of something that's in your stash that just doesn't do anything for you anymore? Well, be that friend, that knitter friend that everybody would love. Don't give someone a gift of a yarn out of your stash. I gifted some yarn last year to a friend, and it made me feel good, made her feel good. It was a win-win situation. So gift, if there's something that you don't like, gifting it to a knit buddy is, I would say, your number one way to define your stash. We're not going to talk about, we're not going to use words that make you feel bad about your stash. We are refining and defining our personal stash. So number one way to do that is gift. Another way to get that stash refined down to your absolute loves is donate. Donate to a local women's shelter. Maybe they have some women there that have had to have been displaced and don't have their yarn with them, and maybe they would love the yarn. Maybe they'd love some knitting lessons at the same time, who knows? Donate to the local senior center. The senior center ladies are always making items to either sell at the local hospitals or at bazaars to raise money for organizations that they're interested in. Churches, if you're affiliated with a church, maybe there's a church group that would be interested in your yarn. So donate. Another option is sell. Now, I have sold stash in the past. I'm just organizing my cards. I've sold stash in the past, and it's fine. I find you have to like really cutthroat price it anyway, and then you have to pack it up, and then you have to get the payment from the whoever has got to come in by PayPal, and then you got to take it to the post office and whatever. So unless it's something that is going to get you a serious amount of revenue back, I'm not a big fan of sell. Now there's this new Tink Knits. There's this new selling service in the States. Haven't tried it. Have any of you tried it? Let me know if you've tried it. I just find selling is not the most rewarding way to alleviate yourself from any item. There is a mindset about selling. When you buy something and you think, oh, if I don't like it, I can sell it, that means you are already anticipating the fact that you are going to get rid of something. So I don't actually support the idea of selling unless you've got something that somebody really, really wants and you're doing them a big favor and it works out to be appropriate for both of you. Then by all means, go for the sell. Once you've done all that, you've pared your stash down and it's all the yarn that you love, and you've got it allocated to different projects. You've maybe switched things up and you are super happy with your yarn. Now the next step is to have gratitude. Look at your yarn and look at what you've got and be happy. Look at it and think, I am a lucky knitter to have this yarn in my life. I'm a lucky knitter to have a stash of yarn, and I love every bit of yarn that I have. I've got great projects lined up, and I am so happy. I am so grateful, and it fulfills me. Be fulfilled by your stash. Hopefully all this sorting and reorganizing will ignite your enthusiasm for your stash. Your stash should not bring you down. It should be uplifting. It should make you be so happy. That's my next word. Happy. You should be happy about your stash. And so all of this thoughts made me come up with, this is my, it's not a resolution. It's not a motto. This is 2020. Everything these days is a hashtag. So this is my hashtag. Stash Happy 2020. Now on to the conversation. So none of this guilt trip about our stash. We are going to be Stash Happy 2020. We're going to get rid of what we don't like. We're going to keep what we love. We're going to reallocate. We're going to know what's in our stash. And when we need, and we're going to be so enthused and ignited by what's already in our stash that we are going to, yes, shop our stash instead of always running out and buying yet more to add to the stash. So my rule this year is, if I buy something, it's because I'm going to come home and cast it on that minute. I am not going to come home and put it in my stash. So if I already have too many projects on the go and I know I'm not going to cast it on, well, I don't need that yarn. I can always get that yarn again. Very rarely do you come across yarn that it's like only here for 10 minutes or 2 days or 6 months or whatever. You're always going to, and you know what? If it's gone, it's gone. It was not meant to be. So the only way I'm going to buy yarn in 2020 is because I am going to cast on and put that project in my rotation immediately. So see, you can still buy yarn, you can still buy accessories, but we're just not going to buy yarn to stash. So are you with me? I hope so. So here we are, Stash Happy 2020. Okay, here's a little discussion on what happened after the last video. And thank you, by the way, for all your comments on my hair. Honestly, you know, I started growing my hair out because of lawn bowling. I thought it would be easier to have my hair pulled back or up or whatever. And then when I look back at my videos, I think, oh my God, what was I thinking? And I'm so happy to be back to my shorter haircut. You never know, it might even go shorter next time. So enough with the hair. Comments. First person to comment was LG. Not sure what your name is, LG. She says she's glad to see me back, and she's agreeing that maybe video blogging twice a month would be a good idea. And she's asked for reviews of the Marie Wallin books, Meadow and Gentle. I will do that because I have the British Breeds yarn here, and I love it, and I think you might like to see that too, so I will do that. Handmade Bags by Diane. Thanks again for the comment on my hair. Yes, she would love to go through her yarn stash, and she misses my Coachy Dog Star. This was a really tough, I'll be honest, a tough Christmas without Daisy. Daisy was the first dog in my life that I was at home. I'd retired, and I was actually selling yarn from my basement, and as a puppy, she used to sit underneath my desk, and I would roll her ball out, and she would bring it back and put it at my feet and wait for me to roll it again. And then when she got tired of doing that, she would just go to sleep on my feet. Sometimes I wouldn't move for so long that my foot and my leg would have gone to sleep. So I think she's my soulmate dog, and I will always miss her. And I know Lackey's missing her too. He's 10 and he sleeps a lot because he is a senior dog now. And I'm resisting the idea of getting another puppy. I'm just gonna move the camera a little bit because he's moved and he's so cute. Can you see him? Yeah. So I am resisting. I am not getting another dog because then the whole cycle would start again. And I really don't want to bring in another dog similar age in case it disturbs his personality. He has such a great personality. He's so sweet. Anyway, got off on a little bit of a tangent there. So thank you, Diane, for visiting. And everybody should check out, Diane has, she makes project bags. So Diane's on handmade, it says handmade bags by Diane. So check her out. Alex, she says, I'm with you on shopping my stash in 2020. Good, Alex. That's it's really good to hear that you're going to do it too, Alex. And if you do it with a different, I think a different mindset, being happy about sorting your stash, so you're going to be happy about it, not beating yourself up because you've got too much or you don't like what you've got. Have the mindset that you want to be stash happy in 2020. Margot. Oh, thank you. The birds here. She says, Margot, love the birds, love the snow, loves the new hairdo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're very close to town. We're only like a 5-minute drive outside town, but we are sort of countryish. And we've got some space here for the birds to fly in. This year I added that peanut feeder, and the blue jays are just absolutely going crazy with it. Well, and so are the squirrels, but the blue jays are my primary aim for feeding peanuts this year. So Margot says she's going to shop her stash and finish as many works and projects as possible this year. And that is a good way to do it, because it's the fact that we have works and projects sitting around unfinished that we've abandoned because we've lost interest. They need some love and attention too. So to be happy with our stash, we need to finish projects and enjoy the results of our handwork, right? So get some projects finished too. That's a great idea. Sharon, she says, thanks, love your hairdo, matches your lovely Musa. I love that sweater, Musa sweater. The more I wear it, the better I think I feel in it. I just really, really love it. Thank you. And she just says very succinctly, stash, yes. So I hope you get the same idea and look at it not as a guilt thing, but as a happiness thing. We are going to be happy with our stash. Next one. Rita. Thank you for your lovely compliments. Rita's going to join us in shopping her stash, and she says she would like to watch future Rowan reviews and dream about new projects. Well, when I do Rowan reviews, you might see a project there that ignites your enthusiasm for a yarn that you already have in your stash. I do knit Rowan designs with Rowan yarn. You don't have to. A lot of knitters don't. They are inspired by the Rowan designs, but maybe their Rowan yarn is not readily available in their area, or they have something already in your stash. So if you have something already in your stash, you might see a Rowan design that you want to knit with it. It might inspire you that when you do add to stash, you might add some Rowan, because Rowan's one of my fave yarns. And thank you for the best wishes for 2020. LuAnn says, I would love to join you and shop my stash. And she says she's interested in my tube socks. Now, I don't know if I can do this. My first pair of socks made from my first tube, and just started a second tube conversion here. I've already put the rib on the first end here, and I've marked These are going to be a little bit longer. I've marked where the heel is going to be, so I'm just picking up, yeah, these are almost going to be knee highs. I'm picking up stitches for where my heel is. So yes, I will do a video on how to convert your tubes into your cranked your cranked sock tubes into socks. I will do that. Thank you very much for LuAnn for visiting the Life LDC channel. Fiona, thank you. She likes the idea of twice a month. Oh gosh, have I set myself up here for twice a month. She says she has 2 little dachshunds who sit with her when she knits, and I think our lovely little pets give us so much comfort. And she is in Australia, where she's in the areas where the bushfires. So Fiona, if you are seeing this, please leave a message and let us know that you're okay, because I've been watching the news about the bushfires, and it's just horrendous. It's just awful, and I feel for you. So take care, okay? Maria, oh, thank you for your comment on my Musa. She likes my Musa too. And yes, my Island Blend cardigan is right up here. I'm going to, my next job is to do some shots with me in that sweater. It's not quite as easy to wear as I thought. It looks sort of, anyway, I won't get into that right now. I love the sweater. It's extremely hot. So, and anyway, Maria is going to also shop and knit our stash in 2020. Hi, Julie. Thanks for liking my new haircut. Lynn Anderson. Lynn. Lynn went to Little Gray Sheep open day a couple of weeks before Christmas. Good for her. I went to Little Gray Sheep once and I loved it. So I am with you on going to Little Gray Sheep. If you're going to buy yarn, that's some lovely yarn to buy. She got some Gotland, which I have in my stash. I have Gotland. And she says she's been feeling guilty. So, and she's going to put some on eBay. Forgot to mention eBay. eBay is a good way to sell stash if you're going to sell stash. Now she points out that her color tastes have changed over the years, and that's why a lot of her stash needs to go to a new home. And that is a really, really good point. I've noticed as my coloring has changed, I'm basically down to blue, not terribly strong navy blue, but blue, because I still like blue to go with my jeans. I am a jean person. I'm never going to give up my jeans. Someday I'll probably be, anyway, never mind. We won't go there. I'm never going to give up my jeans. So blue, and I love brown, and I love sort of a warm beige to go with my brown. That's why I love the Musa, because it's cream brown and beigey brown, and it's got blue patterns in it. Love, love, love that Musa. And the other color I'm going to try and bring in this year is green and maybe a little bit of rust, but I'm going to try and keep all my basics to denim or brown. I'm not even, no, I'm not. I was going to say maybe I would go with sort of a creamy beige pants. Nah, I don't like creamy beige pants. They just, on me, they just don't seem to do it. So I'm going to stick with denim and brown. In the summer, yes, I wear white, but we're talking sweater weather, okay? Anyway, Penny, she says she has a goal in 2020 to knit from her stash. And she wants to knit her perfect sweater that she knit about 10 years ago in all different variations to get all her technique investigation done by using that same basic shape. And then she says, eventually I would like to make a sweater by Marie Wallen and Kate Davies. She's got a kit from Kate that she'd like to start. So she's got some lofty goals for 2020, and also she wants to keep knitting socks as part of her sock, travel knitting, in-purse knitting. Now, you make a comment here, I have way too many individual skeins of fingering yarn that are dying to be socks, so socks they will become. Just one little bit of warning, not all fingering weight yarn is sock yarn. And even if it does have a little bit of nylon in it, the best sock yarn, you have to look at the twist, the best sock yarn has a really, really tight twist. It might be fingering, but if it doesn't have that really tight twist, it won't wear well. This is off topic, but back when I was selling yarn, I sold Jameson Shetland Spindrift. There was this adorable pattern that came out, and they were little ankle socks. And the foot was plain, and then there was this ferruled cuff on the ankle socks, and this lady ordered the yarn for them. And I think it was like maybe 8 different colors. So she bought 8 balls of yarn. She knit these socks. They were absolutely gorgeous. And then she wore them, and she ran around the house in them. And literally in the first day, they wore through the bottom on her heel. And she was quite annoyed at me because she bought all this yarn to knit a sock with Spindrift yarn. Shetland yarn is not a sock yarn. It's fingering, but it's not a sock yarn. Now, the clue was, number one, that there was no nylon in it. And it's a very loosely spun yarn. It's a yarn that blooms, and it blooms beautifully, but it doesn't bloom for sock yarn. Like, it doesn't bloom to be used for a sock yarn. So you get what I'm getting befuddled now. But be careful about what you spend time knitting socks. Socks are a lot of knitting, and you want them to be able to wear really well. The only yarn that I've tried in this last year of knitting socks that doesn't have nylon in it, that has stood up to the rigors of being a sock, is the Koigu Premium Painted Merino, KPPM. It is so tightly twisted, and it is superwash, and it made great socks. We wore those little Rose City roller socks, ankle socks, down at the Lawn Bowling Club for a good 2 months of the session this year, and those socks look beautiful. So just beware of those individual skeins of fingering weight yarn. Maybe they're not suitable for socks. Sorry to go on so long. Pamela just says yes with 2 exclamation marks. Good for Pamela. Oh, then she comes back. She says after she gets finished her Christmas celebration, she's back to her knitting, and she's going to do finishing more before she does shopping. Good for you. Now, Pamela brings up a point, limiting social media. I've noticed that I can spend hours and hours and hours on social media. So I put a little timer on my Instagram, and after 20 minutes, that's it. And I'm going to stick to that this year. And I'm hoping instead of spending time on social media, I'm going to be spending more time knitting. Good idea, Pamela. Hi, LuAnn. She mentions my hair again. Blackmore Rose. Let me just see. So that's Jo. Jo, she's going to join up for knitting from the stash in 2020. She says she doesn't have a massive stash, but she doesn't want it to continue growing. So I think that's a really good idea. Get a handle on it, Jo, before it gets too out of control. Okay, so Jo's got yarn allocated for garments in her stash, and so she's going to concentrate on getting those done in the next year. So I think we're well on the way, don't you, to my idea of, we're well on the way, all of us, to being stash happy in 2020. So I am really looking forward to this. Because when I started looking at my stash, I realized just how much absolutely gorgeous yarn and projects I have down there. And I'm like this little magpie. I see this and I see that and I wanted it something else. I still will start new things. I'm not going to I'm not going to say that I'm not. I possibly, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I know that I am not going to be rigidly controlled by this no shopping thing, because that is totally impossible. I'm going to be more aware. I'm going to be aware of what I've got. I'm going to be aware of why I'm buying the yarn. And if I buy something, it's because I am going to come home and cast it on, because I can't not cast it on. I have to be so much in love. I'm going to be so happy to add yarn to my stash. So there's all different ways of looking at this stash happy. So let's use Stash Happy, STASHAPPY 2020 as a hashtag for anything and everything that has to do with being happy and content with what's in our stash. I think that would be a great way to spend 2020. It's time to let go of stash guilt and be happy about our stashes. So until next time, enjoy your stash, have some quality knitting time, get off the couch and take the dog for a walk in. So until next time, cheers.